So I have a question from the perspective of investors and entrepreneurs. So right now there's billions of dollars that are being plowed into EdTech, right? There are funds in the US, many of them are quite large funds, the UK, Europe, Asia's just generated a significant number of funds. And so it seems to me that part of the solution here is going to be related to the cycle of investment and business development and product development, right? And I was interested that one of your slides talked about different levels or different types of evidence as it related to different stages of a company, different stages of investment, so which I thought was terrific. So could you speak a little bit about how in any of the things that you see going on out there, how the kind of interests of investors and entrepreneurs are being aligned with the interests of trying to find the best evidence for impact and educational outcomes? Because it seems to me at that point of alignment is where the big shift happens.
And I don't think that's really going to happen until market forces shift, because it's most people who are investing generally are doing that for you want a return on your investment, and until people are starting to ask, like schools in particular, until schools are asking for more evidence, then you're not going to see a lot of investors doing that. Now there are some outliers in that, like Rethink Education. Matt Greenfield cares deeply about this. We've got Kapor Capital also cares deeply about it. So there are people who are really heavily been in EdTech really from the beginning, because they're thinking about the double bottom line. But in terms of, we are starting to see it. One of the things that we did, the first project I did when I went to Ed was creating the EdTech Developers Guide. And then we did a 18 tour around, city tour around the country, working with developers and entrepreneurs to help them understand schools. Like, here's what you need to do to get something in. Like, here's some privacy stuff you have to understand. So part of it was just a general education around that. We have started doing, so that we had investors, for instance, at that convening in April, who were interested in trying to figure out, and they also trying to figure out what stage. Because what I don't want to see happen is that suddenly school boards everywhere demand that you have strong and moderate evidence, and that's actually not what the law says. The law says that, in fact, for the EdTech funds, most of those are going to fall into rationale. Rationale means you have some learning science behind, some theory why you think that this will work. And then promising is the next one. Most EdTech falls in those. So I want to make sure we don't go so far that suddenly we're demanding evidence that just doesn't exist or isn't appropriate. And I think that's helping companies. And then I have done workshops with and there are people also that are funding, like Emerson Collective, or you've got CZI and some of these other Chan Zuckerberg initiatives, these more nonprofit organizations that are supporting some of this work in terms of helping them be able to, some of this we need to have some nonprofit funds that are going in to support this and helping companies figure out, okay, what point should you go get a study? When do you do a white paper for yourself? When do you go hire a researcher? Because too soon it doesn't make any sense because the tool's going to keep changing.